Geek it up and watch the SRT skate. 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 What you know about that, man? RP Lil Key, man. If you don't know about that, you need to go listen to that last Lil Key album right after he RP the slime up on them grave. He is sliming, you slat, and I'm slatting niggas out while I'm sliming. You feel me?
MDC sits on the 29th Street in Brooklyn's Sunset Park neighborhood.
And I got my rolled up.
It was once part of the historic Bush Terminal, a massive shopping and manufacturing complex that helped define Brooklyn's industrial waterfront for decades. From the outside, it looks like what it is, a concrete fortress designed to keep people in and everyone else out. But behind these walls, some of the wildest things have been going down for decades. From the Italian mafia running the jail like their private social club during the 90s,
I heard about that.
Taking part in abusing and beating up inmates during the 2000s like it was a team-building exercise.
Heard about that too.
The entire jail going days without heat and power in the middle of the winter during the 2010s, all the way to the current day when the conditions inside the jail are described as hell on earth. But none of this was arguably an accident. Every single disaster at MDC Brooklyn today can be traced back to a series of lies that were told from the very beginning. You see,
but my thing is, bro, why don't the government step in and like fix these corrupt ass jails? Like, we not gonna act like the government don't know what's going on. Like in Angola and the MDC and Cook County and all these different jails, they know what's going on. So why can't they just come in and fix the problem? Why is it always just running rampant and no one's ever fixing the issue? Like, I don't understand that, you know? We all know what's going on, but no one's fixing the issue. It's kind of weird, dog.
Back in the 80s and early 90s, crime in New York had reached alarming rates, exemplified by the record-breaking homicide numbers.
Good evening. We're coming off the bloodiest year in the history of New York, 1,784 homicides. And we're starting off the new year with at least 10 murders in the city today.
The New York preliminary murder rate that released today is 700 more than Los Angeles and twice that of Chicago.
If you ride the subways, tonight's news is not so good. Subway crime has hit an all-time high, according to the transit police.
Early this morning, 300 city cops, federal drug agents, and state police from the Federal Drug Enforcement Task Force arrested 38 people in 22 locations, mostly in New York City. They're charged with running 9 wholesale drug rings, 7 of which allegedly sold heroin with a total street value of $2 billion.
Damn!
It all started right here.
$2 billion.
Soaked street on the east side.
A Billy
was gunned down on Gotti's order in a brazen storm of gunfire in December of 1985.
This is the 5th time a cop has been shot in the past 4 days.
Damn.
On Friday afternoon, a uniformed police officer was shot as he tried to pursue 2 hold-up men in Harlem. On Friday night, 2 off-duty cops were shot as they left a barber shop in Brooklyn. And on Sunday, another off-duty officer was shot after a group of men tried to rob him in Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Because of this,
I ain't gonna lie. One thing I will say is New York, before all the, this is why they had to put the cameras in New York. People wondering like, damn, why New York got all these cameras? Why New York got to do that? Why New York got to do this? They have to do this because y'all is insane. Y'all was running around New York. This goes for Chicago too, and a little bit of LA. Y'all was running around these cities like there was a wild west, just dropping bodies left and right. What'd you think they was gonna do? As soon as they got the technology to stop y'all dumbass, that's what they did. I don't blame them, because y'all was running around New York, man. You know how crazy, bro. New York has no alleys, bro. It's that damn, it's like, it's big, but it's congested. And it's too many people. It ain't never just start being congested like that. It's been congested. So it's like, and they got Ellis Island right there taking in all them immigrants. I ain't blaming the immigrants, but I'm just saying you got a lot of foreigners mixed with a lot of national citizens, normal citizens, national citizens, you feel what I'm saying? And everybody just mixing, gang banging, we all po, we all broke. Not a good mix.
York's detention facilities, like the Manhattan
Geek
Jail,
it up and watch the SRT skate. Geek it up and watch the SRT skate.
The 1970s was packed beyond capacity with inmates awaiting trial, leading to some detainees being released simply due to lack of space to house them. This looked particularly bad for the city's politicians at the time, like the mayor Ed Koch.
One of the things that caused public outcry was the release of prisoners from the city's jail, stemming from a court order on overcrowding.
I do believe there's something wrong with our standards where the convenience, as it relates to people who are charged with heavy crimes, because these people are not charged with light crimes, and the safety of the public are equated with the convenience to the prisoners being of greater import to the court than the safety of the public.
So Koch and the feds needed somewhere else to stash these federal defendants awaiting trial, and lucky for them, they would end up finding some old warehouse buildings in Brooklyn. As the local residents would find out about these plans, they would protest loudly, raising concerns about traffic congestion congestion, strain on water and sewage systems, and the general impact of having a federal jail in their neighborhood. Moreover, the site had long been planned to host offices that would have provided hundreds of well-paying jobs to the locals. But despite the strong opposition by the residents and the local Brooklyn politicians, the mayor and the feds would move ahead building their new jail, which was supposed to house 1,000 inmates.
That's a lot of inmates.
Institutional power. They never tell you the real plan up front. What they didn't tell the residents was that they were planning something much bigger from the jump. Almost as soon as MDC Brooklyn officially opened its cells, locals would uncover the first major deception in what would become a 30-year pattern of lies and cover-ups, as it would turn out that a facility that was supposed to house 1,000 inmates was actually about to house up to 3,000 inmates. When a local politician would confront the Bureau about the deception, they would claim that it was all just a simple misunderstanding over the word beds. This overcrowding created the perfect conditions for the first major scandal in the facility.
Oh, I'm tweaking. So I'm thinking they really expanded it. They didn't. It's really supposed to fit 1,000 people, but they putting 3,000 in there. But y'all was dumb as hell for building a damn jail in New York that only can house 1,000 people, bro. It's 1,000 people that walked through the damn Starbucks downtown Manhattan in the last 30 minutes. Like, bro, it's busting. Come on now, you can't be doing no shit like that, putting 3,000 people in here. What you think gonna happen, man? A lot of people gonna pass away. A lot of people gonna get ran out. A lot of people gonna come be words, and a lot of people gonna goddamn get out because it's not that much space.
1994, some genius decided to house 21 members of the Colombo crime family together in one wing. Within weeks, these mobsters had basically taken over their entire section of the prison. They'd surround guards during searches, hoard foods until other inmates went hungry, and literally hung an Italians only sign outside the TV room. Among them was Billy Findus,
crazy as hell,
real name William Cotolo, a former acting underboss who'd survived multiple assassination attempts in the streets during the Colombo family's numerous external and internal conflicts. It would take 6 months to break up this mafia social club masquerading as a prison wing, but of course that was just the beginning of MDC Brooklyn's problems, as just 3 years later, federal investigations...
So it wasn't like the movies? Because I saw in the movies, and you feel me, in Goodfellas and shit. I don't know if y'all saw Goodfellas, but they was in that goddamn eating lobster, chilling, smoking, doing whatever they wanted to do. So I don't know. I'm thinking some it was a little bit like that too. I'm thinking there was some realism in that on Fun and Grave, at least, you know what I'm saying, in the 80s and shit.
Would uncover something that made the Colombo takeover look like a minor disciplinary issue. In 1997, the Department of Justice launched what they would call Operation Badfellas, and what they found was a corruption scandal so massive that it exposed the entire facility as basically a criminal enterprise. 20 people were arrested, including 11 guards who had been running what amounted to a luxury hotel service for mafia bosses and drug dealers, including officers smuggling vodka hidden inside Evian water bottles, gourmet Italian food, heroin, marijuana, and even styling gel to inmates who could afford to pay anywhere from $100 to $1,000 per delivery. One guard was caught on surveillance video saying that he wanted to attend the mobsters' meetings inside the prisons so he can learn who was going to be whacked next. Another one was providing inmates with confidential files that could identify snitches in the facility, the kind of information that gets people killed on the streets. And all of this was happening while the FBI watched inmates conduct business like they were running corner stores instead of serving federal time. But of course, things were about to get way worse, because over the next 2 decades, MDC Brooklyn would build up a solid rep as one of the most troubled facilities in the entire country.
This sounds crazy.
Correct during the 2019 power crisis, when a power outage left over 1,600 inmates without heat and electricity for days. Not just once, but twice. Just how much the feds didn't care. Inmates burned paper and clothing to stay warm, wore socks on toilet seats, and banged on windows crying for help while their loved ones protested outside. But still, the jail reportedly first refused outside assistance in helping the inmates.
But y'all gotta understand, bro, like, this ain't prison. Like, if this was prison, I damn near wouldn't really care for real, you know? But this is jail though, bro. Like, yeah, some bad people in here, but it's also a lot of people that just did one wrong thing. He might have been driving with no license. He might have been driving, got arrested because he, feel me, had a little too much to drink, like maybe like 2-3 beers, and he went to go get some McDonald's for his family. He might have got locked up because he tried to cop some loud, but the weed man was getting followed, so now he get arrested, but he was only getting 3.5. You feel me? It's a lot of things that go on. And can you imagine being in jail for a weekend in New York in the winter, and the heat's off, the electricity's off? What the fuck? I can only imagine what's going on themselves, man. These niggas, yeah, you looking at people banging on the window, nigga, in the op shopping. It's going down.
Extra police are on hand to manage protesters banging, yelling, honking. Outside the Metropolitan Detention Center in Sunset Park, some of the more than 1,000 inmates held here responding with flickering book lights.
Inmates could be heard banging on cells in protests throughout the day Friday and Saturday. A shipment of blankets and hand warmers had been delivered Saturday night, courtesy of the city, after
Courtesy of the
MDC allegedly refused help earlier in the week.
There was no real communication with the detainees at the very beginning. And as a result of that, there was no real understanding as to why they were in the circumstances that they were in.
For real though, no cap.
Conditions inside of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn during a 7-day power outage that caused protest and outrage by elected officials because of the cold temperatures and lack of heat were much worse than initially reported, according to new reporting by the New York Times.
Now, the Justice Department has an ongoing investigation into what happened, but so far the warden hasn't been officially reprimanded and there have been no changes inside of MDC. It's almost as if that blackout never happened.
By 2020,
I ain't gonna lie, like, man, look. Shit. Oh yeah, they finna get into
before the chaos had reached new levels, moving past administrative failures or corruption to actual bodies dropping, when 2 inmates were murdered just months apart and many others were seriously injured in attacks orchestrated by 9 assailants. While in another case, an inmate orchestrated a real-world murder from his cell using a contraband phone, resulting in an actual fatal shooting outside of a nightclub in Queens.
Bronx to Brooklyn, a shocking murder-for-hire arrest in that borough, and the suspect accused of orchestrating it all is a detainee at a federal lockup. Dajan McBean is charged with conspiring with 2 others to murder a man through a complex plan that involved them provoking others to shoot at their target. The day after Christmas last year, outside a nightclub in Queens, the man was shot, but only wounded. Tragically, bullets struck and killed the man's girlfriend, 28-year-old Clarissa Burgos. Prosecutors say McBean was able to orchestrate the murder plot by using a contraband cell phone.
In online spaces, some people who have allegedly been at MDC have shared their own stories about the hellish conditions, like how in any conflict situation, also the victim is punished and placed in a special housing unit, aka SHU, which means that you're stripped, put in an orange jumpsuit, and thrown in a tiny cell where you basically stay around the clock for days on end, with nothing else to do but smoke synthetic paper strips sprayed with fent, and for some reason, raid bug spray, which makes the users pass out, vomit, or have seizures. Things got to a point in September 2024 that a federal judge declared the conditions so barbaric and dangerous that he would rather vacate an inmate's sentence than send him to MDC Brooklyn, leaving the jail to halt taking in any inmates who have actually been sentenced.
Damn.
However, that wouldn't help Diddy, who would be sent to MDC Brooklyn that very same month.
Damn, he got sent to MDC. Man, he should have stopped doing them freak-offs. He got too deep in with that shit. That shit not cool, bro. Like, yeah, and you feel me? You could probably have a little threesome every now and then, but you dibbling and dabbling in some dark things, player. I can't condone that. I can't. You're on your own with that shit. I don't know what the hell he had going on. He could have just not did the freak offs, and now he wouldn't be in MDC where they ass tweaking. They ain't no heat for real. They say they making this shit sound like it's World War III going on. Boy, it's crazy what be going on in these jails though. Like they in there. Like, people be in there for years before they get sentenced. They in there catch new charges, all type of shit. Don't go to jail, man. Don't be about that street life. I'm telling you, it's not worth it. I promise you, it's not worth it.